Welcome to my 1 Minute to Wow video tutorial. This is Mary Fish with Stampin' Pretty and stampinpretty.com. I wanted to share with you a simple way to dress up designer series paper to make a wow card. Here I've used Stampin' Up's Flower Pot designer series paper and added some punches. They're lifted up with Stampin' Dimensionals and pearls to really bring it to life. I even added Stampin' Dimensionals below the heart to create some added dimension, but very simple and easy to put together. Looks really wow when I have the same flower pot pattern cropped inside as an envelope liner. But let's talk about another type of pattern that may not be quite so obvious, and that's something simple like this little polka dot. I used the Stampin' Up window framelets. This is a magnetic sheet that makes keeping our dies organized so nice. There's information on my blog about Stampin' Storage and a link so you can go look there and know more about these magnetic sheets. Super smart. But I cropped one of them. Used one of them to crop this piece of designer series paper. If I didn't say before, it's also from Flower Pot, and I am going to add it to a little square that measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. I'm using our snail adhesive, and I'm just standing up tall and hoping that I can line it up pretty well with looking at it at an angle. And then for a little bit of difference, I'm just going to use our Bird Builder Punch. This is Night of Navy cardstock and a little bit of snail. I'm going to layer this just to put this little piece down, as well as the bird. I'm going to put the bird on a Stampin' Dimensional. Give it a little oomph and pop that up there. So see how that creates, those simple punches created a nice little silhouette. And you don't have to end it there. It also crops the wing, but I put the wing in the polka dot pattern just for a little variety. And let's get that one wow factor going. And I'm going to grab one of our antique brads. This is going to be pretty bold, but it's going to be kind of the focal point of all of this on the wing, and it's just going to give it a nice powerful statement and a little lift. Just going to turn that so that hopefully you don't see it. I'm going to just grab my trusty old craft scissors and use that just to cut off that extra little piece. Much better. So that's a very strong statement, but look, it really brings this card, I think, to life. So I'm going to add another Stampin' Dimensional. And pop that on there. See, I think that's a really, really beautiful statement. And again, we're just really using designer series paper at this point. No stamps needed whatsoever. And you've seen how I transitioned from a pattern that had a lot going on to something much more simplified. And then I'm simply going to add it to this card. It's a Night of Navy card base. And I stamped it using the same stamp set that I used for the other card. And that's Lots of Thanks. Here's that particular stamp. I stamped it Night of Navy, and then I added a couple of the Regal's candy dots in Night of Navy on either side. And then the last thing I need to do is I'm going to just pop it up on Stampin' Dimensionals. And I like to be generous on these guys. I think it's worth it. You don't want it to have droopy drawers in the middle, or be too flat against the card. I think dimension is really key on a handmade card to giving it a wow factor. If I was on a desert island and I could only have a few paper crafting essentials, this would certainly be one. And so let's put this one together. And I'm going to stand up tall on my tippy toes. You might hear my voice getting a little louder, but I want to line it up I'm going to put that one together. So I think that's a really pretty card. And again, just a major wow factor. I'm primarily using designer series paper, dressing it up with some simple punches and obviously that antique brad, and then a simple sentiment at the bottom. So thank you for joining me for my 1 minute to wow video tutorial. You can learn a lot more about paper crafting and creating simple and pretty cards on my blog, stampinpretty.com. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.